Hey everyone, and welcome to Sketching with Sarah. I'm Sarah, and today's video is part 2 of my Among Us Astronauts as Animals series. This is a series where I take the silhouettes of the popular game Among Us characters and show you what these astronauts might look like if there were animals smushed inside. And who's to say there isn't? So if you haven't watched part 1, I totally encourage you to do so, and I'll have the link to that video in the description, as well as that little link thingy popping up on the screen for you to check it out if you're interested. But basically for last week's video, I came up with the concepts of the animals in the first colored astronaut suit options, and this week I'm finishing up the final 6 colors that I didn't do in part 1. While deciding what animals to put into these suits, I took inspiration from the color of the suit itself. So for the purple suit, I couldn't really think of many purple animals off the top of my head. So when I was looking up purple animals, I kept being drawn to these ochre sea stars and its deep purple color. A few things to know about the ochre sea star, or ochre starfish, is that they can actually be 2 different colors, purple and orange. There still isn't a really good hypothesis on why their color variation is so different, which I thought was pretty interesting. I mean, orange and purple are pretty distinctly different colors. Ochre starfish eat a large quantity of smaller animals, such as mussels, and although their motion across the sea bottom is really slow, when you watch it in time-lapse, they do move around quite a bit when they're searching for food. So be wary of the purple astronaut who you think is just standing there, because their next move might be to kill you. The next astronaut I'm putting an animal into is the black one, and I chose to squeeze a black panther into it. Black panthers are also known as black leopards, and are actually just a color variant of the spotted Indian leopards. Black panthers are really hard to see in the nighttime, as you might expect, but they do still have those spots like their spotted panther family, but because they are so dark in color, it's harder to distinguish the spots on their coat. I found a really fascinating article by the Smithsonian Magazine that goes into detail on some reasons behind why black panthers seem to be so rare, and one thing that stood out to me is that black panthers may have a harder time communicating with their regular panther family. Panthers can communicate in many ways, like giving off pungent scents, chirping, and various growling sounds, but their visual communication is also really important. Panthers give off warning to their cubs, and their cubs to their mothers, by using their white markings on their ears and tails, and those signals can carry a really wide variety of intent, from friendly to fierce. So like I mentioned before, black panthers are just a color variant of the spotted Indian leopards, but this is also known as them being melanistic, because a lot of jungle cats do have this same situation going on, like ocelots and jaguars. So if I say melanistic, that just means the black variation of that species. So for example, with the whole giving warning signals with their white markings on their ears and tails, imagine if there's a melanistic mother cat with spotted kittens. She would be able to read the kitten signals, but the little cubs may not be able to understand hers. So the little cubs could be loud when they need to be quiet, or just come across avoidable danger. So this black suited astronaut may have a hard time explaining what's going on, or what they saw. But on the other hand, black panthers, like any giant cat, are super powerful. And with that added mysteriousness in the darkness, just be aware when the lights go out. The next colored suit I'm jamming an animal into is the brown suit, and I chose none other than the grizzly bear. When coming up with the animals for each suit, I tried to get a variety of species of animals, mostly not to get bored and draw the same type of animal over and over again, like birds for example, and it gives me an excuse to talk about all kinds of animals. I love bears, and polar bears are always my favorite animals to see at the zoo ever since I was little. I'll never forget when I was at the polar bear exhibit. It was a summer day, and there was a polar bear mother just floating and chilling on her back in the water, and there was a polar bear cub who would straight up just cannonball onto the mother's belly, and then proceeded to fall into the water just to climb out of the water and do it all over again. It was the silliest thing I've ever seen, and I still remember it to this day. And I think I must have been 5 or 6 years old. Anyway, a fact about grizzly bears is that they are scavengers, and they're really adaptable with their diet. They eat all kinds of insects, several species of flowering plants, roots, grasses, berries, rats, and really anything that can come across, like dead bodies or human garbage. So be wary when a dead body is found. The brown astronaut might take advantage of that as a free meal. The next colored suit I'm cramming an animal into is the cyan colored suit. For this suit and how vibrant the color is, I chose the blue pit viper. This viper is so gorgeous in color and so close to the colored suit, I had to pick him for this one. But beauty is pain because this snake is super venomous. and a really aggressive predator. This snake tends to lean more towards the fight rather than flight, which is terrifying. This blue pit viper is also known as the white-lipped island pit viper. This snake is related to the white-lipped pit viper. Say that 10 times fast, jeez. Most white-lipped pit vipers are actually a really striking green color. This blue version is quite rare and only are found in places like the Komodo Island, where both green and blue versions have been spotted. While reading an article about them, there's this video embedded where it explains some really interesting anatomy of why these snakes have forked tongues and how they use the pits in their face to sense for prey. I honestly thought they were just nostrils. And I guess they could be in a way. The next suit I'm smashing an animal into is the green suit. For this one, since it is a pretty neon, limey green color, I immediately thought of the red-eyed tree frog, but those actually have a lot of other colors in them, like blues and reds and oranges, so I decided to pick the green tree frog instead. This frog can actually appear a brighter yellow-green while it's calling, and can appear a duller green or even gray when they're resting. The article I found about green tree frogs has this little audio clip in it that has the call of these frogs. So if you want to know what that sounds like, I also have that link in my description. It's like a really nasally queaking sound, but you'll have to hear it for yourself. Green tree frogs are the loudest in damp weather, so they're a really good indicator of rain. As far as hunting, they eat all kinds of smaller insects, and they often are found clinging to windows or walls and feed on any insects that are attracted to the light. Very clever, but maybe too clever. Last but not least, we have the white Among Us astronaut suit, which I fit a beluga whale into. I love beluga whales and just how silly and exaggerated they look in such a lovable and cute way. Something I learned at the Shed Aquarium is that beluga whales can actually change the shape of their bulbous forehead, which is actually called a melon, by the way, and they do this by blowing air around their sinuses. Unlike other whales, beluga whale neck vertebrae are not fused to its neck, so this gives them that unique ability to turn their head up and down and side to side. Another interesting thing about beluga whales is that they're also known as sea canaries because they are one of the most vocal of all whales. It's kind of like the Bolivian red howler, who I made into the red astronaut suit in part 1. There's always that one player who's more vocal than the others, and maybe too vocal, so keep that in mind. And that's it for part 2 of my Among Us Astronauts as Animals series. I really had a lot of fun figuring out where the limbs and tails would go into these weird yet really simple silhouettes, and I hope you enjoyed watching the process. I'm not super thrilled with the final drawings themselves, which is why I want to do a more polished digital illustration of these concepts in the future. I feel like that would be a great idea and something fun to stream on Twitch when I start streaming again. I definitely treated this challenge as a way to come up with concepts more than anything, rather than making a perfect drawing each and every time, because honestly, that's just added pressure that I just don't want to deal with right now. That being said, anatomy was definitely thrown out the window and into a fire for this video, but it was on purpose because, I mean, have you ever tried to keep everything anatomically correct and fill out this silhouette, okay? I just enjoyed the process more than anything. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe for more art and animal related content. I have a new video up every Friday and we're so close to 100 subscribers and I'm so excited. My birthday is this Sunday and wouldn't it be so cool to hit 100 by my birthday? I think that would be wild. Thank you to everyone who has supported me on my YouTube journey so far, and especially those of you who leave a comment and give me some feedback on my videos. I do take the time to read and respond to every single comment, and they truly do make my day. As always, I have the links to my sources for the information in this video, along with the affiliate links to the supplies I used to create this video in the description box below, so be sure to check those out if you're interested. If you've made it this far, leave me a comment to tell me which of these Among Us animals was your favorite, or which one do you think is the imposter? I'd be curious to find out. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.